Welcome back to Rev It Up Bowling. My name is Jason Robarge, and today we have a ball review for you. What we're going to be doing is reviewing the new Power Hitter by Radical. Now, the Power Hitter is the third iteration of the Hitter series. Now, the Hitter series is Radical's top shelf, like upper top shelf kind of bowling balls, use big ASIMs, right? Now, they're not the most aggressive thing in the world. The original Hitter, which was one of my absolute favorite bowling balls, I would say top 10 of all time, and probably top 5, or maybe first, second of that given year, 2022, I believe it came out, 2023. The reason I do like the Hitter is, one, I threw it a lot. I had 2 phenomenal memories with it. I was able to average 260 at Jewel Lake Trios day 2 with it, and then I was able to win using this ball, the only regional I've ever bowled, batting 1,000 with that bowling ball. It definitely holds a certain spot in my heart. So I really like the Hitter. The Hitter Pearl was good as well. I'm hoping that this ball holds up to that hype. Now, the Power Hitter sports a 2.48 RG, some fluctuation between 14 and 15, me throwing 14. The differential is 0.05. We're gonna redo this part of it, but 0.053, okay, 0.015, okay, 0.05. Okay, the Power Hitter sports a 2.48, depending on 14 or 15, varies a little bit for the RG, 0.053 for the diff, and a 0.015 for the intermediate diff. This core is marginally strong, definitely on the stronger side, has that little bit lower RG, a little bit higher diff, and a moderate intermediate diff. What I'm expecting out of the Power Hitter is to be hopefully a cleaner version of the Hitter. Now, it does have the HK22C textured hybrid cover stock. Now, this cover stock was also on the max bias, and it was definitely a more aggressive type of cover stock. I feel like it was able to slow down, well, the max bias had a massive diff, but it slowed down the ball quite a bit. What I'm expecting out of this thing is they actually have a slightly higher hook potential than maybe the Hitter or the Hitter Pearl, but I'm still expecting a cleaner, slightly rollier mid lane than the Hitter, and even the Hitter Pearl, it was cleaner. I think it's not going to be as clean as the Hitter Pearl. Being a hybrid, it makes the most sense. But more specifically, it does have that textured hybrid cover stock, which really helps grab the mid lane. What we're going to be doing is throwing this ball up 5, 10, 15, 20 across the lane, get an idea how it rolls, and then throw some shots throughout just to understand, get used to this bowling ball, and then give you guys some good shot shapes. Without further ado, let's get into it. We're gonna get one going up 5 just to see what it does. I would have to expect it's probably gonna take off fairly quickly, being a shinier hybrid type ball with a big old core. Go ahead and give this a shot. Yeah, that makes sense. It picked up 30, 35 feet. I will say it generally did get a little bit further down lane than I expected playing there. We're gonna go ahead and move a little left, play around with it a little bit and see what it does. We're gonna play second arrow, right, a second arrow, somewhere around there. Closer. Definitely covers some boards. Yeah, higher response, quicker response than some of the other balls I reviewed lately. Probably the quickest responding of the Turbo X, the Paragon Shadow, and the Guru that I've already reviewed this week. But it's definitely more of the quicker responding type bowling ball. All right, move a little bit more left. That was better. I threw it right quite a bit. So now we have control of the pocket. Let's go ahead and play around with it a little bit. I might throw one more shot a little bit further left just to see what it does, but I found the pocket. I could probably tweak it from there. Let's move into third-ish, right, left to third arrow, somewhere around there. I didn't mean to open the lane up on that last shot, but we'll definitely mean to do it a little bit more on this one. Wow, that ball slows down. Even in friction, I mean, it's more responsive, oil. Even it's more responsive because it's in more oil longer, it's not burning energy. But I can see that ball physically just slow itself down and then start migrating left. We're gonna try to do that again, but we're gonna try to get the ball a little bit further right. We're gonna get to the point now where I'm crossing quite a few boards. Will it have enough energy? I'm not sure. Oh, bye ball. Well, it doesn't recover from there. We're gonna try that again. I'm definitely in the area now where I feel like it might be too much ball. We'll see for how many boards I'm crossing and just burning a lot of energy up, or checking and hooking like that first shot did. Oh, double dribble, strike. So fun fact about me, If I double dribble, it strikes 95% of the time. Do I know why? No idea. I haven't figured that one out. I had some okay scores at the Nationals this year. I went like front 6 or something on one of the games, and I went for an 11, but my 7th shot, double dribbled it, and dude, you would have thought I'd lofted it. Like, it hit the ground hard. I thought I broke my hand. I don't know how I did it, and it struck, piered. I need to stop throwing it right. I don't care how much rev rate you have. If you try to cover 50 boards, let's try to do it again. I'm definitely more uncomfortable playing this far left. My body's screaming, hey, go up the boards with this ball, so. Or more up the boards, I should say. Better. I had to finagle it, like really tweak some stuff to make that work. Maybe later in the day I could see that work, but it's still a bigger ball. Big left to right shape, still might require an okay amount of volume to work pretty well. One of the things I'm noticing, even with those shots that weren't great, is the ball likes to slow down. It really, when it starts seeing that lane, you can see that ball draw itself back and then make its motion. I can definitely see the core working. And with that HK22C cover stock, I think it's helping out quite a bit too. We're gonna move back right, just play around with it. I really like what it looked like going around second arrow, left to second arrow, just a little bit. We're gonna go and play around there a little bit. Or we can leave a 5-pin and pull it. I need some practice, jeez. I've been golfing too much. Too slow. That one I definitely was thinking, I was like, I physically suck. Let's only think about my physical game. And then I forgot I was throwing a ball. Got it. Ready to wrist, got it. It's definitely pretty responsive. It's quite quick right now. Traditionally, I would probably try to throw a little harder. So we're gonna give that a shot. Yeah, ball is just slowing down too much. Might have too much rotation and stuff too, but it's definitely slowing down to the point now where I have to get it going, speed. Otherwise, it just slows down too much and goes left. Try to get some speed on this one. That was better, but you can still see it's quite responsive down lane. And where I'm playing, it's just not holding up the pocket. It's not rolling forward enough. It's just a little too quick, a little too responsive when it gets down lane. What we're gonna try to do is, I'm actually gonna move right, which you're like, oh, it's gonna hook more. I'm hoping it smooths out a little bit. It can roll more forward. It can see more lane, friction, and hopefully not just check when it gets to the end of the pattern. It's better. It's not as quick down lane, but saw more friction throughout the lane. I like that. Again, surprised how much energy it does store. Like, you see the ball slow down and the core just flips over. So a lot is helping this ball, like go from 22 off my hand to 18 when it gets to the pin, 17. There's no problem with this ball slowing down. I think for that reason, like it does require some friction. I think that if it's in oil too long, it still slows itself down. The core's still migrating, but then at the end of the pattern, it's just quick to respond. Like that final hook position, hook phase. I think it does actually require some friction. Otherwise, it might be a little too hockey stick-like. I try to do the same thing. A lot of ball. Now this isn't the first time I have thrown this power hitter. I did throw 1 or 2 games with it in our sports shot league. That was on like a 37-foot pattern. It didn't look phenomenal. I definitely think a longer pattern, this would look pretty good. Friction, we need friction. Yeah, still. Yeah, that one had double hooked. Kind of saw the more friction, slowed down and hooked a little bit, and then hooked again with the pour flip. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna move left into some oil. Maybe play that little bit more responsive type shape. It's not smoothing out as much as I'd hoped. A little bit of friction would have, or sorry, a little bit of surface maybe would have helped that. Go ahead and move a little bit deeper. It's a little bit better. I think it needs to cross some boards. Definitely not a front to back type bowling ball, like maybe if there's enough volume, maybe threw some surface on it. It does create more of a left to right shape, especially coming out of the box with some polish on it. I'll do that again. Yeah, when you look at that ball review, you're gonna be like, wow, that ball took off. Yeah, you're right. It definitely did. We're talking about how much volume this requires and how responsive it is. Radical has a great chart. Other companies have a similar chart. That's how I like to categorize balls, how much volume they need and how responsive are they in that given volume. So this ball, I think, requires more volume. However, it is quite responsive. Longer patterns, maybe you're, I would say rev dominant, but just to help this ball, it will get it down lane a little bit further. But it is a stronger ball. If you're looking for something cleaner through the heads, but still can cover some boards, I think that's where the power hitter is gonna lie. The Pearl was similar. The original hitter was much more, it had the utility core cover, which is very user-friendly. Like, it's not a crazy aggressive, but it's not weak. So that ball was very versatile. I could play up the lane, play a little bit further left. I think with the Pearl and now this thing, they're more emphasized for a left to right type shape. I can't keep it on the right side, Ace. It would help if I threw it good. A little bit of speed. That ball trucks through the pocket. It just keeps going left as soon as it makes the transition. I'm gonna play around with this for the next 5 or 6 shots. I wanna try a couple different things. I don't wanna talk too much. We'll do a little montage just to show you what the shot shapes look like. But in general, like, you're gonna be creating more of a left to right shape, higher volumes of oil. If you're slightly have a lower rev rate, maybe for a house shot, definitely. I think for our given house shot here, for me, it's gonna be too responsive, a little too quick. I could add some surface to it, right? But that defeats the purpose of what it's meant for, right? It definitely, for me, it's gonna be picked up and brought to maybe slightly heavier friction lanes on more oil. I think slowing down, it doesn't really have a problem with that. Is it gonna roll forward enough? Is kind of where I'm finding this ball. Better. Take all my hand out, it works beautifully. So that was the ball review of the new Radical power hitter. Again, it's a third succession to the hitter and the hitter Pearl. If you guys really like those bowling balls and you need some, honestly, more left to right than even the Pearl was, this is the ball for you. Some of the things I noticed with it, pros. Color for one. Some people have told me they don't like the color. Personally, I love the color. I'm a copper fan, the copper with the blue and the black. Now, from a bowling perspective, pros. If you're looking for a big left to right, asymmetric, gets to the heads fairly well, does require some oil, that's the kind of ball for you. I think for more heavy-handed bowlers, it's gonna be okay for those higher volumes, but I think that this is definitely gonna be a ball for the everyday man, the everyday woman when it comes to house shots. The reason I say that is, at least here, we don't have a lot of friction and this ball likes to slow down. A lot of the times, what we get here is a big old cliff. Checks, comes back, get it in, there's not enough friction, and the ball will just sail 60 feet. For that reason, I think for this type of bowling ball, it will work pretty well in those areas. You get it in, it's got a big enough core, it's got an HK22C, it's definitely gonna set up more towards that pocket. If you get it right, it is a little bit allergic to dry. And that's the word I wanna use, is allergic, because whenever it sees too much friction, it does just like to die. We've seen it on a few shots here. Either I sent them wide right, which again is a miss. I'm not really expecting it to strike, but the symptom of that is the ball slowed down a ton, but instead of making that left turn on a good shot like it does, it just burnt up and rolled forward. I think one of the things about this ball is it's not gonna be the best on some dry. Like, it definitely requires medium to heavy oil. And I think for the average day bowler, the league bowler, it can be pretty good for that. I think it can play left to right a little bit more. I think it's gonna be a little bit more versatile than the Pearl was. The Solid, in my eyes, it's goated. It's hard to beat the original OG hitter. But in general, I think that a lot of people will be throwing this in league and on those slightly heavier volumes, playing a little bit more left to right, maybe a little bit longer patterns, because this ball definitely will slow down before the end of the pattern. I think that's kind of where this ball lies. Slightly more oil, pretty quick response time, I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely falling in the slow, really quick. I mean, it's right there. It's pretty quick when it transitions. And you can see it too, when it rolls out, it likes to just and roll forward. There's really no hang there, there's really no smooth there. Like, it just generally wants to just get to equilibrium as quickly as it can. With that said, if you guys like this video, please smash that like button. Give us a subscribe. We just hit 10,000 subs over our break, honestly. I haven't filmed in 6 to 8 months, kind of burnt out a little bit on bowling. Also had a number of other, fires to put out and start, honestly. So we're gonna be getting back into YouTube a lot more. We're gonna be doing matches, ball reviews like normal, of course, tournaments, keep an eye out for our merchandise, stuff like that. Ways to keep the community involved, if it's with memberships or if it's with Discord or something like that. We definitely want to build this brand, this YouTube, into something that we can look back on and be like, yeah, that was pretty cool. So with that said, this was the review of the Radical Power Hitter. My name is Jason Robars. This is Rev It Up Bowling. Much love, peace.